What's going on? It's Tony Angelos, your Chicago real estate broker, and I'm here to talk to you about 6 things that you should know before moving to Chicago. If you're watching this video, you are probably thinking about making a move and you want to know a little bit about the city. So let me distill that down for you. Chicago is an amazing city with so much to do. We have so many different sports teams, a great food scene. It's actually a great beach town too. Not many people realize that, but it could get a little bit overwhelming. So, first things first, let's talk about the cost of living because this is probably high on your mind. The city itself is about 20% more expensive than the national average, but there's a caveat to that. Some of the more popular neighborhoods, like Lincoln Park, Gold Coast, West Loop, they are substantially more expensive. And it's just important to understand that, budget accordingly, and explore different areas that fit your budget and your lifestyle. Next, let's talk about the winters because I'm sure that you've heard about how terrible our winters must be. Well, the truth is, Chicago weather is actually not that bad. January and February suck, terrible. But every single month after that gets better and better. And quite honestly, there is no better place to be than summertime in Chicago. I'm not gonna lie to you, the winter months, they're cold, they're windy, and they can be pretty harsh. But if you invest in a nice coat, some layers, I'm gonna link a heated vest that you could get off Amazon that's real sleek and you can put on your coat. It's gonna keep you nice and warm. Some good boots, you're gonna be fine. In fact, if you're working downtown, we have what we call the pedway system that connects a lot of the buildings underground, so you really don't even have to go outside. My previous apartment that I lived in, the bus picked me up right outside my door, it dropped me off right in front of my building, and then I had the pedway system from my building to wherever I needed to go to get lunch. It was really, really easy, and I was outside a total of maybe 15 seconds on any given day. So it's not the end of the world. Don't be crazy, don't be ridiculous. You can do this, I promise. This brings me to my third point about public transportation. I cannot stress this enough, but the CTA is really great. Every now and then you're going to hear somebody get frustrated about it, but that's only because they have nothing to compare it to. However, the CTA is the nation's second largest transportation system. It serves, I think it's 35 suburbs, the entire city of Chicago. Tons of rides. You have trains, you have buses, and it's an incredible way to get around the city. It's very affordable. If you're working downtown, there's a good chance that your company has some sort of employee benefit where you're going to get that tax free. You're going to get a monthly pass tax free, or they might even just pay for it outright. So, what does that mean? Don't necessarily need a car. Parking in Chicago can be very expensive. If you're looking at one of the high rises downtown, sometimes parking in their garages could be upwards of $250 a month, sometimes even higher. Okay, moving on. I want to talk a little bit about our different neighborhoods. Chicago is a really big city geographically, and we're broken up into different neighborhoods, and some are better than others. Some have a lot to do, some have nothing to do. So first, one of the most popular neighborhoods is our West Loop. Our West Loop was not so long ago basically desolate. It was a meatpacking area and honestly not even that safe. However, today the West Loop is booming. It has it is our best restaurants. It repeatedly ranks as one of the most walkable areas of the city. It's really close to downtown. It is literally just over the highway. And there's just so much to do there. This is a really popular neighborhood if you're a young professional, maybe if you're working in tech, or maybe if you're just like starting a new family and you maybe have a little bit more money and want something on the luxury side, but really close to everything else. Not too far from the West Loop, you have Westtown and Wicker Park. It is just like the West Loop, just not at all. It's more for like a hip, an artsy, a artistic type of person, and it's very close to the West Loop, just a little bit north. So you still have that great access to pretty much everything. It is more affordable though. The housing stock is a little bit older, whereas in the West Loop, it's a lot of new developments, new luxury developments. But it has a much more neighborhood feel. It's a lot quieter, and it's a really cool place. Worth checking out if you don't live there. If you are coming to the city, you maybe are just out of college, or maybe if you're just starting a family and want something a lot more affordable, but still very close to everything, still get a lot of action, I would consider Lakeview. This was the first place that I lived when I graduated college. A lot of people do. It's where Wrigley Field is. It's a ton of fun. It's right by the lake. There's a lot of restaurants. It's a very fun neighborhood. Lakeview is a really big geographic area, so there's a lot encompassing it. You have Wrigleyville, which is obviously where the Cubs play. You have Boys Town. You have the actual lake, which has a lot of high rises, and I lived right on the lake. It was awesome. Some of the best sunrises ever. And then on the western side, you have closer to like Southport Corridor, which is a lot of families. Okay, the last neighborhood that I'm going to mention, and I apologize that I'm not talking about any on the south side, but my favorite neighborhood of all is Lincoln Park. It is unmatched in beauty. It is unmatched in proximity. It is unmatched in housing. In my opinion, if you can live in Lincoln Park, it's got everything. The park itself is just stunning. It is sprawling all across the lakefront. It's huge. I can't remember the exact size of it, but it is huge. It is beautiful too. The houses are awesome. Just these old 1800s, early 1900s, just beautiful homes. You have DePaul University there, so it's very transient. People are always coming in and out. You have great shopping there. You have great restaurants. It's amazing. I can't recommend it enough. The Lincoln Park Zoo is free. It is worth checking out. It is one of the best zoos. I think it is the largest free zoo in the country, and it rocks. And I can't say enough good things about Lincoln Park. It's very expensive, so keep that in mind, but it's expensive for a reason. So for number 5, I want to briefly touch on this, but let's talk about the job market. Chances are, if you are thinking about moving here, you probably have a job in mind or an occupation that you would expect to carry over. And the good news is you probably can. Chicago is known for having the most diverse job economy across the United States. What's really beneficial for us is that we do not have call it a key industry. In New York, you might have banking. In LA, you have film and entertainment, and so on and so forth. We are really diverse. And that's been a huge benefit to us. We don't see, in terms of our housing, we don't see rapid spikes and declines. We don't get any of that because for the most part, it's really stable. If you are looking for a job, there are some industries that are booming more than others. Construction, for example, is booming. There are so many high rises going up right now. Basically, at any point in the city, there are cranes in the air, tons of infrastructure projects. So construction, I know if you just Google it, construction's booming, and so are other services like consulting or marketing, things like that. Those industries are on a hiring spree right now. Moving to Chicago can be a great adventure. Chances are you've probably visited the city, and that's why you're watching this video. But it's an amazing place. My contact information is right here. I would love to talk to you. We could hop on Zoom, talk about what you and your family are looking for. And I encourage you, one way or another, make the move. It's an amazing place. You won't regret it. So if you keep the things that I talked about in mind, you're gonna have a very smooth, very successful move, and it's just gonna be a great next chapter. So what are you waiting for? Come and experience all that Chicago has to offer. See ya.